Well, here we are to talk about the pickers. Now, this will pretty much wrap up the summer, I guess. Appropriate that Floppy's going to join us here for the final picks video. So I'll go over these final shows, Alpharetta and Hampton. Kind of take a look at, once again, everybody was either, everybody had their nights. Some people had, hot runs. It was hard to just single in an overall winner. I think the final 8 shows, though, although Dan Z started out great, Forbin started out great, and then Forbin, I still don't know what happened at the end. I can't believe, maybe just something came up and you weren't able to make picks. I hope it's nothing too serious, or I just feel like YouTube has failed us. I didn't see any comments, in the held for review. Sometimes, oddly, people's picks, occasionally, I have seen that. I don't know why. It's nothing abusive or anything. I don't understand. So let's just get to the picks. But then I also do worry, well, who else? I know what happened to Spud several times. He had to leave comments multiple times. I don't know. I hope, I don't know. YouTube comment section's failing us a little bit here. So on night 1, I started out great. This final 5 shows, 4 out of 5. Actually, I began great here. Hampton 3 did well. Everything in between. Overall, I had I'd say below average summer. I think I did better last summer. Certainly did better in the spring, back in April. Not so good this summer. But occasionally you'll hear my name pop up, like Alpharetta night 1. I hit 4 out of 5. I don't even remember that. I do remember hitting 4 out of 5 at Hampton. I was really rooting somehow for an inexplicable late show about to run. Never came. A lot of people, well, we'll get to Hampton 3 here in a minute. So I hit 4 out of 5 that night, and I'm pretty sure I took the night, except everybody else hit the opener. See, this was a big opportunity for me to not only have some picks right, but also hit the opener. Punch you in the eye, though. I just can't, Buried Alive it was this night. I just can't quite ever pin that one down. No openers, really. I'm not very good at openers at all. But, however, Mike Driscoll hit a Peaches long shot that night. I guess, should have seen that one coming, perhaps, but I just didn't really think they'd play Peaches. So, who hit the opener? Baked Zito, Seaman, Tom Lake, A Dinner and a Film, Nico, Jake Williams, AC49, and Spud. Spud coming in a couple of times here late on the end with a long shot and an opener. Alpharetta night 2, though, Drew C. pretty much stole the show. From the lawn, he put his picks in and then went 5 for 5. We had a couple of RB specials here in these final 5 shows, too. Buffalo Bacon chiming in with a 4 for 5 that night. There's a ton of people hit 3 out of 5 Alpharetta night 2. Same thing I think happened Hampton night 1. A bunch of 3 for 5s. Butler McDonald sort of went against the grain. He picked 5 songs they would not play Hampton night 1. And these weren't real big long shots either. These were songs that when I saw his 5 songs they won't play, I was like, he's going to get screwed there. They're going to play at least one of those. No, nailed it. All songs that started with S too, I believe. So Butler McDonald, well played on night 1. Kirk Roberts goes 4 for 5. Spud goes 4 for 5. This was night 1 in Hampton. A bunch of people hit that fluff head opener, kind of like the Buried Alive. People were nailing punch openers this summer. Jacqueline Berg and the Phish Finder hit that opener. Buffalo Bacon again. Paulie G, Isle of Railroads. It was that Boutros and Nico. Nico hit a couple of openers running down the stretch. So Hampton night 1, Kirk and Spud go 4 for 5, and a bunch of you hit the fluff head opener. So Hampton 2, Hampton 2 was not so great. Wizard maybe hit the opener. You were right on the line there. We're all on the honor system here. I'm gonna trust that you did not put your pick in after the show started, or maybe you just didn't know. Wizard getting the opener, Boogie on Reggae Woman. Spud and Bon Bon teaming up to hit the Esther long shot. Look at that Spud coming through with a 4 for 5. Hitting an opener, hitting a long shot. Spud ending this run pretty strong. Harpua goes 3 for 5. Was that 11K? 3 for 5. Joe Gaffey, 3 for 5. So then we get to Hampton night 4. Once again, I went 4 for 5, feeling good about myself till I went over the picks. Whole bunch of people went 4 for 5. The other Dwyer, not Danielle, getting in, hitting an opener the final night. What was that? Was it First Tube, I believe, opened up the final night? Then all of these people hit 4 out of 5, along with myself. Also Steve, Daniel L. Dwyer, Kirk Roberts, Adrian B., Progressive Rock Fan, Is that Brian? Brian Johnston or just Brian? I don't know. I just got Brian. Just one name. Just goes by one name. Brian. Colin Michael Gordon. Nert Flippard. Drew C. again coming through. He had a 5 for 5 and a 4 for 5. Sumac 22. Pretty consistent throughout the summer. All 4 for 5s. And then Jen M. called the 21st night of September as a long shot, which I believe they played post-show, if I'm not mistaken. So if your long shot gets played post-show, that does count. And then Harpua, all those 4 for 5s, he put us all to shame because he went 5 for 5. So Harpua ended it strong. And it was interesting. Everybody's 4 for 5 was a little bit different. I got jammed on About to Run. A lot of people, it was Cross-Eyed and Slave. If they would have played Cross-Eyed and Slave, or in just one or the other, we would have had a bunch of RB specials here the final night, a 5 for 5. Instead, just Harpua takes it. I should pull up his pit. That was an impressive 5 for 5 there on the 5. Never mind. It'll take me too long to get there. So then that brings us to overall on the summer. You know, it was hard once again. Like last summer, I feel like Nico pretty much separated himself. Their self. I think Nico's a dude. I think we established Nico's a dude. Young man. Nico. Young Nico. So, not as clear cut this year, but I feel like going all the way back to, you know, the first shows in New Hampshire through Chicago, Austin, Charleston, Alpharetta, Birmingham, Hampton, trying to include everything overall. I think the summer winners might have been a tie between, and this is totally unofficial, you know, you might have been out there plugging away, hitting 2 and 3 every night, sneaking in an opener, sneaking in a long shot, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5. Never really taking a night, you know, not really getting a mention. Sorry if that's you. Danielle and Harpua, however, I don't think were inconsistent. I think their names kept popping up. Harpua really, you know, perhaps Danielle Dwyer could have sat alone at the top. Went from just having a great early summer to a pretty strong, consistent end of the summer. And then Harpua, who also was pretty good throughout the summer, hits you with a 5 for 5, you know, right at the end. The fourth quarter comeback there at Hampton, along with another strong 3 for 5 Hampton night 2. So he ends the year 8 for 10, just knocking the ball all over the park. Floppy, where'd you go? What you doing, bud? Oh, you gonna lay up there? So behind Danielle and Harpua, you know, I'm putting them at the top. We also had Jacqueline Berg and Tom, pretty consistent throughout. You know, they might be like tier 2 right there. And then there was a bunch of people. Buffalo Bacon, Paulie G, Dinner and a Film kept showing up. Sumac 22, Isle of Railroads, Michael Driscoll. These were all people throughout all of the shows, you know, when I would jot down names who did well on particular nights. Those names kept popping up. You know, getting mentions all the way from New Hampshire through Charleston through Hampton, really. Isle of Railroad. And sometimes I don't think y'all maybe made picks every night. You know, Paulie G, pretty consistent, Buffalo Bacon, but then like Dinner and a Film, Sumac, Isle of Railroads, Mike Driscoll, not real sure. Then there was people like myself, Spud, Forbin, Pete G, Brent, JP. Like we had some great nights, and we had a lot of bad nights. I don't know if I think we hit, instead of those bad nights, if we could have got some 1s or 2s, more 2s or 3s rather than 1s and 0s, I guess, you know. I think that's what separated people like Danielle and Harpua, even Paulie G, Dinner and a Film, Sumac. Although, you know, if you wanted to tally up every one of your picks throughout, if you remembered what they were, well, your picks would be in the comments. You could look at the set list, and what was there, 30 shows? It's a lot of picks. I don't know. It's a lot of work even for yourself. I think since there's no real prize, I'm not sure if it's worth it. For me, the prize is a lot of fun. You guys all play along. That's cool. And, yeah, I enjoy it. So I get the reward, I suppose, somehow out of all of this. All right. Well, Nico, last year's reigning champion. Nico, like I said, came in strong there at the end with some openers. But overall, I don't think Nico kept his belt. I think Danielle and Harpua were probably the best pickers of summer 25. Jacqueline and Tom, pretty strong. Buffalo Bacon, Paulie, Dinner and a Film, Sumac, Isle of Railroads, Mike Driscoll, Forbin, Spud, me, Pete G, Brent, JP. Better luck next time. And then, you know, there's people like ZZR, I think maybe MDS. There were some other good pickers throughout the summer, did well. Yeah, ZZR, right there you are. Rob Humphrey had some nights, I think. The Fish Finder said wasn't there all the time. Maybe not as strong this year. All right, so I think that about does it. Thanks everybody for playing along, and now summer 25 is over. Well, Floppy, you really tucked in, man. You look real comfortable. He looks really tucked in over here. Let's check him out. We'll end the summer with Floppy. How's that? Well, Floppy, it was another strong summer. I want to thank you for participating, some co-starring, made some cameos. I don't know if we'll quite call you a co-star. Certainly made a cameo or two. That was cool. Oh yeah, check this out too. Boom. Thanks, dude, for sending that to me. Say thanks, Floppy. All right. You got lots of chicken and tuna in that big belly. He's wore out. All right, guys. Boom. Thank you.